For this episode, we're back on the Car Northland. Remember a couple weeks ago we told you about this wonderful historic president's car for the Duluth-Mesabi and Northern Railway. And we told you about all the important people that had ridden on it as guests of the railroad, the mine owners, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Pillsbury, Mr. Macy, Mr. McCormick. And though it was the president's car for the railroad, it was also, for one day, the president's private car for the United States of America. And that's a story I'm going to tell you today. Come on inside. This is another episode of our continuing series where we come to you because you can't come to us at the Lake Superior Railroad Museum in the closed St. Louis County Depot in downtown Duluth. This beautiful Car Northland served as the president's car of the railway, but for one day, in 1928, it served as the private car for President Coolidge, the 30th President of the United States. Summers were abysmally hot in Washington, D.C., and really, the city was built on a swamp, and that's even without the politicians. Every year, Calvin Coolidge took his family on a road trip. He'd gone to the Adirondack Mountains in the summer in New York State. He'd gone to Custer Park in South Dakota. And here in his final year of presidency, he'd already said he wasn't going to run for re-election. In 1928, he took them to northwestern Wisconsin as a guest of the Pierce family at their Cedar Island Lodge on the Brule River just outside of Superior, Wisconsin. The place was a mammoth estate. Mr. Pierce owned land on each side of the famed trout stream, the Brule, and an island, Cedar Island, right in between. And that's where the president and his family were to spend the summer. Except for one day on July 10th, 1928, they were the guest of the Duluth-Mesabi and Northern and U.S. Steel, which owned the railroad, which owned this car, and they were taken on a trip to see the Hull Rust Mine in Hibbing on Minnesota's glorious Iron Range. The trip started in Superior, and with special accommodations went all the way up to Hibbing, where they were met with a parade through downtown. They toured the high school and, of course, the mine itself, all to impress with Mr. Coolidge on what a great job they were doing mining the northeastern Minnesota natural resource of iron ore. During that trip, the railroad had to make some very special accommodations, especially for national security. They needed constant communication with Washington, D.C. The president was on the move, and they needed to keep in contact with the War Department, the State Department, all the goings-on in Washington, D.C. On Cedar Island, they had a telegraph, and they needed one on the train. This is a bug. This is a key. These are two receivers, redundant in case one failed. They had to have this on the train, moving with the president. Alvin Jordan was the telegrapher's name who was in charge of running the equipment. He sat in the baggage car with a lineman who had spikes on, so in case of an emergency, like a derailment or something, or an attempt on the president's life, the train would stop, the lineman would climb up a telegraph pole, connect the wires, and then dots and dashes would keep the constant contact going between the president on the train and the rest of the world. This was the communication network for that train. Was it ever used? Well, no. Only once, when the train stopped in Hibbing, to send a test to Washington to make sure it would work. It was never needed because, well, nothing ever happened on the trip, which pretty much describes the entire Coolidge administration. Nothing ever really happened, hence the name Silent Cal for Cal Coolidge. Today we have a modern-day version of this, and the CIA and the National Security Council, and more importantly, the Secret Service, travel with the president, and they carry with them the launch codes for the nuclear arsenal of the United States. And it's carried in a valise that's called the football for constant communication. This is the early version of that football. Don't forget to enter our contest each and every day this week, and this week only, we're giving away a one-year free membership to the Lake Superior Railroad Museum, and membership has its privileges. That's our gift to you. Or you can make a gift to us by just joining, become a member of the Lake Superior Railroad Museum. In the meantime, we're doing just great out there. Everybody's doing their part. We can't thank you enough. Keep doing it. If you're sick, stay home. Wash your hands, cover your coughs, don't touch your face, keep that social distance, and take care of each other.